Hare Krishna. Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari 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 Gopi Janavallabha Girivara Dhari Jaya Gopi Janavallabha Girivara Dhari Yashodanandana Vraja Janaranjana Yashodanandana Vraja Janaranjana Yashodanandana Vraja Janaranjana Yamuna Tira Vanachari Yamuna Tira Vanachari Yamuna Tira Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Jaya Radha Madhava Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Jai Om Vishnupada Paramahamsa Parivrajagacharya Shrotra Shri Srimad Abhay Charanarvinda Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada Ki Jai ISKCON Beauty Founder Acharya Srila Prabhupada Ki Jai Jai Om Vishnupada Paramahamsa Parivrajagacharya Shrotra Shri Srimad Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Thakur Prabhupada Ki Jai Ananta Koti Vaishnava Vrinda Ki Jai Namacharya Srila Haridas Thakur Ki Jai Prem Se Kaho Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhara Shivasati Gaura Bhakta Vrinda Ki Jai Shri Shri Radha Krishna Gopinath Shamakunda Radha Kunda Giraj Govardhan Ki Jai All glories to the assembled devotees, all glories to the assembled devotees, all glories to the assembled devotees, all glories, all glories, all Shri Guru and Shri Gauranga, all glories to Srila Prabhupada. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Srimad Bhagvatam, Canto 10, Chapter 9, verse number 18. 10.9.18. Swamathu svinna gatraya. We finished it? Or new chapter, huh? Next verse or new chapter? 10.10.1. Oh, okay, we changed that. We finished? Okay. Chapter summary? You did the rest, okay. Okay, 10.10, Srimad Bhagavatam, Canto 10, Chapter 10, verse number 1. Shri Raja Uvacha Kathyatam Bhagavaneta Tayo Sapasya Karanam Yattad Vigarhitam Karma Yena Vadevarshesh Tamaha. Purport, translation by His Divine Grace Abhay Charana Arvinda Bhaktivedanta Swami Prabhupada. King Parikshit inquired from Shukdev Goswami, O great and powerful saint, what was the cause of Nalakuveras and Manigrivas having been cursed by Narada Muni? What did they do that was so abominable that even Narada, the great sage, became angry at them? Kindly describe this to me. 10.10.2 Shri Shuka Uvacha Rudrasya Nucharo Bhutva Sudriptau Dhanodhatmajau Kailasopa Vane Ramye Mandakinya Madotkatau Varunim Madiram Pitva Madaghur Nitalochanau Striya Janer Anugayabdbhis Cheratu Pushpite Vane. Translation and purport. Shukdev Goswami said, O King Parikshit, because the two sons of Kuvera had been elevated to the association of Lord Shiva, of which they were very much proud, they were allowed to wander in a garden attached to Kailash hill on the bank of Mandakini river. Taking advantage of this, they used to drink a kind of liquor called Varuni. Accompanied by women singing after them, they would wander in the garden of flowers, their eyes always rolling in intoxication. Purport. This verse mentions some of the material advantages afforded to persons associated with or devoted to Lord Shiva. Apart from Lord Shiva, if one is a devotee of any other demigod, one receives some material advantages. Foolish people therefore become devotees of demigods. This has been pointed out and criticized by Lord Krishna in Bhagavad Gita 7.20. Kamaistais rita jnana prapadyante nya devata. Those who are not devotees of Krishna have a taste for women, wine and so forth. And therefore they have been described as rita jnana, bereft of sense. The Krishna consciousness movement can very easily point out such foolish persons, for they have been indicated in Bhagavad Gita 7.15, where Lord Krishna says, Namam dushkritino mudha prapadyante naradhama mayaya parita jnana asuram bhavam ashrita. Those miscreants who are grossly foolish, lowest among mankind, whose knowledge is stolen by illusion, and who partake of the atheistic nature of demons, do not surrender unto me. Anyone who is not a devotee of Krishna and does not surrender to Krishna must be considered Naradhama, the lowest of men, and Dushkriti, one who always commits sinful activities. Thus, there is no difficulty in finding out who is a third class or fourth class man, for one's position can be understood simply by this crucial test. Is he or is he not a devotee of Krishna? Why are devotees of the demigods greater in number than the Vaishnavas? The answer is given herein. Vaishnavas are not interested in such fourth-class pleasures as wine and women, nor does Krishna allow them such facilities. Om Ajnanatimirantasya Jnananjana Shalakya Chakshurunmilitam Yena Tasmai Sri Gurave Namaha. Shri Chaitanya Manobhishtam Stapitam Yena Bhutale Swayam Rupa Gadamayam Dadati Swapadantikam. Namaham Vishnu Padaya Krishna Prishtaya Bhutale Shrimate Bhaktivedanta Swami Niti Namine. Namaste Saraswati Deve Gauravani Pracharine Nirvishesha Shunyavadi Pashyatya Deshatarine. Jaya Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhara Shrivasadi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda. Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare. Mukam karoti vachalam pangul langayati girim yat kripatham vande Shri Guru Dina Taranam mancha kalpatarvesha kripasinduvecha Nama pavanebhyo Vaishnavabhyo Namo Namaha. Those miscreants, thus there is no difficulty in finding out who is a third class or fourth class man, for one's position can be understood simply by this crucial test. Is he or is he not a devotee of Krishna? So we can see in the pastime of Nalakuvera and Manigriva, and Prabhupada is mentioning over emphatically, that they are devotees of Lord Shiva and they are special. Why? Because they are devotees of Lord Shiva. But Prabhupada is mentioning, other than Lord Shiva, if we are devotees of anybody else, then it is just foolishness. Yes, foolishness. Why foolishness? Because serving the demigods, yes, we will get some benefit, but it is only material, and eventually for the soul, there is no use. There is no use for the material, there is no use of material entanglement for the soul. The soul requires pleasure. Yes, everybody is seeking pleasure. And hence, due to getting bewildered in finding pleasure, the demigods do give facilities. But it is indirect pleasure. The direct pleasure is Krishna consciousness. And that is proved by all our acharyas. And it is proved emphatically by Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu in his pastimes in Navadvip and Jagannath Puri. Why? Because these ecstasies have never been seen before. What Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu has expounded and given through his teachings, Ashrishava padaratam pinashnumam adarshanam marmatham karotuva yatha tata va vidadhatulam patomat prananathastu sevanapara. This level of devotion is never seen before. Yes, it does not matter whether conditional or unconditional. Whether Krishna's love is conditional or unconditional, my love is unconditional. Yes. Whether he looks at me or he doesn't look at me, it does not matter. This is the state of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, and it is very difficult to understand what he is exhibiting and what he is feeling. And that's why it is said only 5 people know these ecstasies, which is Madhavendra Puri. Why? Because he is the tree under which Radha and Krishna have these special pastimes. Srimati Radharani, Krishna, Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, and I think it's Balram. Or not even Balram. There's one more person, I'm forgetting. But only these 5 know the highest ecstasies. Nobody else knows. It's not even in the spiritual world. It is that clear, it is so esoteric. But Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is still giving it. Yes, the sense of serving Srimati Radharani and serving Sri Krishna in the mood of unalloyed devotion. And hence, we have all these rules and regulations of authority, of etiquette, only and only because so that we can develop the service attitude. Yes, and because we do not have that attitude, we have to be given the reactions of our actions. Because otherwise, how will we learn? Yes. And that's why over here, Prabhupada is very emphatic in saying, a person who is not a devotee of Krishna, that means what? Maybe he is devotee of Krishna, but he's also a devotee of a demigod, then he's actually not surrendered to Krishna. Prabhupada is making it very clear. The thing is that that day we were talking about, astrology and everything. And usually astrologers, one of my relatives went, and my mom usually likes to go. So they all were going, then she was telling me, that, somebody has to find a job, and then what will happen? Will they be able to clear the exams? And so I asking these questions, and in the end, he gave some, remedies that every Monday you should offer, Abhishek to Lord Shiva, or, for on Tuesday you go to the Hanuman temple and offer tel and oil, sesame oil, or mustard oil, I don't know which oil was it. And then even in my childhood, my mom used to take me everywhere, On Saturdays we go to the Shani temple. Then on Tuesdays we'll go to the Ganpati temple. And then on Wednesday it is, Lord Vithal's day, so okay. And then on Thursday, I think Thursday was given. So then you can eat non-veg, right? Other than all these, on Saturdays you don't eat, or something like that. So everybody has their own different kinds of things going on. And then there is Shravan and so many things. And it's like, now that I think about it, it wasn't wrong. Yes. In that state when I was over there, it doesn't feel wrong at all. Why? Because ignorance is bliss. And it works out. There is no thinking about whether to go back home, back to Godhead. What is the real purpose of life? And you just go with the flow. It all makes sense. And that's why it is called Naradhama. Yes, when there is a headless society, who cares what's going on? Till the time I get good marks and I'm a nice kid, that is the aim of life. Whether it is birth, old age, disease or death, that does not matter. That is so petty, right? But it's not. It is so, that's the illusion. Yes. And that's why to serve, and that's why at that moment if some astrologer comes and tells you to do all these things, actually it's not wrong, correct? Some astrologer might also say that no, you should go to Radha Krishna temple. And you should light these diyas. And actually, after you become a devotee also, then sometimes you go, right? They'll be like, yeah, you go to Radha Krishna temple, right? Go for Purnima. And always for Purnima, you should light this diya. And I was like, okay, that makes sense. It's Radha Krishna, right? But the thing is that I'm using the wrong means. Instead of following the acharyas, I'm following an astrologer. So who's my guru? The astrologer becomes, the person who I'm following, rather than I'm following my guru. And people might say, it's okay. Then it's okay for you. You can stay here worshipping Radha and Krishna in that mood, but you will not go back home, back to Godhead, because it is not surrendered to Guru and Krishna. And that's why Prabhupada over here, like sometimes people say that we are so strong about it, but Prabhupada, this purport, my God, it's like a person who is a devotee of Krishna is okay, he's good enough, at least good start, right? Surrendered to Krishna, best person on the planet. But a person who is not a devotee, he's a Naradhama. He's a third class and fourth class person. And that is a perspective for a devotee also. That yes, we interact with outside people, but that does not mean we associate. There is difference between association and interacting just for the sake of interacting. We do not take up their values. Everybody is establishing, like these 10 days, we have so many things going on outside, and everybody gets inspired and everybody does everything because everybody else is doing that thing. But we don't have to do that. We are not third class and fourth class people. Sorry to say, but these 10 days and this purport is coming up over here. So evident. And even sometimes devotees, forget about outside people, initiated devotees, they go and do all these things. And it is so sad. And then they justify by giving a verse from Rupa Goswami's, shloka and everything and Brahma Samhita. But why? Why do we have to waste time? I would rather waste time doing sense gratification. At least that's better, I think. Because you're you're aspiring for something which is not okay. Prabhupada never did it. And then we start doing something which is like, oh, it's allowed, it's in the achar. Now you're going to tell us, Haldar Maharaj says this very emphatically, now we are going to be better than Prabhupada and transcend and do whatever Rupa Goswami did. And that's not surrender, it's also very careful in all these things. But it's sad, the third class and fourth, and then it's a little first class and second class, but then, yeah. And then when these astrologers tell us also what to do and what not to do, right? The thing is that I was observing from their perspective, Krishna is just one of the gods, like Bhakti Vinod Maharaj was saying. And that's why they are like, okay, let them do this seva and they can do this also. Because this planet is affected by this demigod, so let them do this also. And it makes sense. From their perspective, it makes sense. But the thing is that is what it means. The blind leads the blind and they all fall in a ditch. He is blind, he is ignorant. That doesn't mean I have to follow him. Right? And that's why I was like, oh, that is the perspective these people have. They do not know what is the meaning of absolute truth. They do not know what is the meaning of supreme controller. They do not know what is the meaning of supreme personality of Godhead. And that's why they have to give these suggestions. But a devotee, the Vaishnav astrologers, they actually give only, you have to do right something. Then they will give you something which is related to the Lord only. Because you still have this attachment that other than the holy name, something else works. So then they will give you the worship of Varahadev. They'll give you the worship of, Vishwaksena or devotees, or you worship a guru. And then the mentality changes when you do that. The mentality is, I am doing this because I want something. And that becomes a business transaction. It is very subtle. And the thing is that people say that we don't have to do this, we just chant Hare Krishna. But the thing is that we do Buddhi Yoga. Yes, we are not blind. We are not surrendered our intelligence. We have to use our intelligence in Krishna's service. And this is where Prabhupada is saying, with our own intelligence, we have to see who is a devotee of Krishna and not. And even amongst devotees, there will be the people who want to surrender more and more. We associate with them and not with these pseudo ones. Sorry to say, but yes, I am also a pseudo devotee somewhere, but at least I know who other pseudo devotees are. Let's be frank about it. Yes, and so we have to be careful. From their pseudoness, I don't become more pseudo. At least this level of pseudoness is fine, At least we'll make progress. But not that level of pseudoness, There is a category, right? 10% pseudo, 20% pseudo. Like that. So we have to be careful who we associate with, who we listen to, what we are practicing, what is our thought process. Otherwise, we will get birth again. Yes? I know I am going to get one again because, it's not happening. But still, at least, we will be approaching to Krishna. At least we are coming closer to Krishna. The other method doesn't work. Externally we might go somewhere, but internally there is no progress. And that's why over here worshipping the demigods is actually a sign of ignorance. A big sign of ignorance. Why? Because we do not know who is the absolute truth. Yes, Prabhupada is he is not just thrashing them because he is a worshipper of Krishna. The thing is that the worship of the demigods is coming from Shastra, correct? And from Shastra, if the Shastra is emphatically saying that we don't have to do that, you surrender unto Krishna, Krishna himself is saying, then if we are not accepting his words, that means we are not accepting Krishna's authority. That means we are offending him. And that why it is offensive. And that's why we become third class and fourth class. It is as simple as that. But Prabhupada is giving us directly. Why? Because he has to establish that rule directly. In his head it's very simple. That why to waste time doing all these things? Why don't you chant Hare Krishna instead of doing, a fast for some other demigod? You could have chanted more rounds, But no, the thing is that when we are in ignorance also and we don't have faith, then we have to go somewhere out. And we have to use our tiny brains, because somehow or the other we have come to the US. And now we have become, in IT companies we work. And somehow we have a big house. And now obviously I am the doer of the whole thing. And whatever I am doing is perfect. And it is so puffed up, just puffed up. And usually that's the problem when Indians, Maharaj always says this, when Indians go to the West, or they have this Western mentality in India, that we are modern, we can do anything we want, whatever it is. It doesn't matter, we have to use our tiny brains to preach Krishna consciousness. But eventually it does not work. I was watching a reel of a devotee and he was saying this, talking about another senior devotee. And he's like, with all due respect, I'm just being honest. But then if in your honesty you're going to offend a senior devotee online, and then there are juniors who is appreciating you online, they all are going to bear that judgment, The seniors criticizing some other person or, pointing out their mistakes, they are allowed to do that. But you are not. Sorry to give an honest opinion. But the thing is that with your honesty, you will lose Krishna consciousness. You will become externally famous, you will become the king of the world, but there is no going back home, back to Godhead. And then there are juniors who accept this philosophy. Yes. And then it is a sad, sad thing. Sad, sad thing. Prabhupada did not compromise. He could have said that it's okay to worship the demigods. And then it would have been a wider, bigger society of ISKCON. But no, he did not compromise. And that's why we cannot compromise that etiquette to publicly blaspheme and publicly criticize somebody else's senior devotee's opinion. If a senior devotee is doing it to another senior devotee and they both can handle it, who are we to say anything about it? Who are we to say anything about it? A Prabhupada disciple? You're talking about that person? It's like we say okay and then we move on. But no, I have to say it. I'm doing it for the betterment of the world. I'm doing it for the betterment. No, you're not. What did you gain by your petty Instagram reel? You lost everything over there. And that's why following acharyas is not a small thing. And that is becoming so rare and rare these days. And that's why to seek that milk out of the whole water, you have to become a swan. To become a swan, we need to know what is a swan. Right? And yesterday I was listening to Radha Govind Maharaj's lecture, and very beautiful, and he was laughing, and he was laughing, the crowd was laughing, everybody was laughing in it. And in Hindi it becomes more relishable actually, but I'll try to put it in English. He's like, one day, Hamsa, I think it was Hamsa. Yeah. A swan was flying, not flying, swans fly, right? They can fly, right? Swans can fly. So a swan was flying, and then because it was night time, it had to come down and sit on a branch of a tree. And that tree was full with owls. Okay? And owls can see in the night. They have difficulty seeing in the day, so they take rest in the day and they see at night. Or it was bats, somewhere like that. So they don't know, they open their eyes only in the dark. So the swan was sitting over there, and then the owls opened their eyes during that, and then they saw, "Hey, tum kaun ho? Tum kahan se aaye? Ye kaun hai? Ye kaun si chidiya hai?" And then, he was saying that, "Who are you? Why are you here? What is your business over here? We've never seen you before." And then the Hamsa says that, "No, I'm a Hamsa, Hamsa? वो क्या होता है? ये किस चिड़िया का नाम है? What kind of a bird is this?" And then he was saying that, you have white color and everything, but they cannot see, because it's the dark. And like, वो क्या होता है? And then he's like, what are you doing now? Why are you sleeping? You should wake up. It's the right time. It's the daytime, whatever, for them. No, now the sun has set. सूर्यास्त हो गया है. सूर्य, वो क्या होता है? वो किस चिड़िया का नाम है? And the crowd was laughing, like, obviously you cannot do that, how Maharaj says it. Maharaj was laughing, the crowd. And they don't know anything other than what is a bird. So they were like, what kind of a bird is the sun? अभी इनको कैसे, the sun that which gives brightness to the whole universe, it's the morning time. Brightness? What is brightness? Which bird is called the brightness? Which bird is that? And then he's lost. He's like, now how should I explain them what is the sun and what is brightness? And this conversation went the whole night. The swan couldn't sleep. And as the sun came up, and then they slept back. Maharaj was saying the Mayavadis and the ignorant people are like this. The owls can never know what is the sun. Even after the hums are telling them what is the sun, they are not able to understand it. It is totally irrelevant to them. And that's why Krishna consciousness is also like that. It's very rare. And that's why Prabhupada mentions over here, why are there less Vaishnavas? Is because of people like Nalak Kuvera and Manigriva, because they are addicted with wine and women. And Prabhupada can say that definitely. Me over here sitting, not, So, but totally, only pure devotees can be at that platform. And so we have to be careful that we do not remain in the dark. Yes, to really accept that Krishna is the Supreme Personality of Godhead means that to stop worshipping everything else. The indication, if we are worshipping anything else, means that I do not have faith that Krishna is the Supreme Personality of Godhead. No, I have to worship all these demigods. But why? No, because my, astrologer said this and then. Haldar Maharaj is so heavy on this. It's like, okay, then the thing is that you're finding solutions for material things. And you'll be entangled materially. Because the mentality is bad. It's not even good. It's third class and fourth class mentality. And then people might say, oh, you're offensive to demigods. No, we are not. The thing is that if you see a devotee of Krishna, are you not happy? We are happy to see them. So the thing is that when we see other demigods, other devatas, we are very happy. Because they are devotees of the Lord. They teach us how to worship the Lord. So, we do not have to offend them. But that does not mean we have to worship them. The thing is that it is in the heart. It's not the demigods is the problem. It's not Prabhupada saying this is the problem. The thing is that Prabhupada is trying to point out that the mentality of the devotee or the non-devotee is the problem. It is the mind saying that this is okay. And when we say that it is okay and we validate it by using Brahma Samhita or something, then it's, what is the use? Oh yeah, I'm a big Shastra devotee. Oh yeah, I have so many, people appreciate me so much and that's why I can say anything and everything, whatever I want. No, we have to say whatever Prabhupada wants. And Prabhupada is saying this. Yes, that's why Bhakti Vikas Maharaj is known to be very strong. But about these points, Prabhupada himself is saying over here that we can point out who is a devotee of Krishna. If he is not a devotee of Krishna, we know that yes, he is far from Krishna right now. But that means we do not take his association. We give our association. We give appreciation of Krishna in a way which Prabhupada has given us. Yes, and we appreciate that. And after that appreciation, the person makes progress. He comes to a platform of full surrender and then he doesn't have to worship anymore. As simple as that. But that doesn't mean we start pointing out everybody's mistake and then being, rude and mean. We understand that it is their position right now and we have to help them add Krishna to their lives. And then by adding Krishna, slowly these other things will wash away. And then from fourth class and third class, somebody becomes first class. Yes? So we should also practice it in our lives and try to be staunch in our faith in Krishna, in our faith in Srila Prabhupada. Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Nitai Gaur Premanande Hare Hare Bol. Grantaraj Srimad Bhagvatam ki jai. Thank you very much.